Good afternoon, evening, and night, everybody, and welcome to Trinity University here in San Antonio for what promises to be a fantastic matchup here between the Trinity University Tigers and the Texas Lutheran University Bulldogs. Football is finally back after what feels like far too long, and we are so incredibly glad to be here calling this game for you on the Trinity Tiger Network. My name is Caleb Breed, and this matchup between TLU and Trinity is really kind of a tale of two different teams in terms of their different positions on the success spectrum. Last year, Trinity, of course, as you know, the last time that you saw them here on the Tiger Network, they won their playoff game against Hardin-Simmons University and finished the season overall with a 10-2 record. Meanwhile, on the other side of the field, the TLU Bulldogs, they really struggled last year. A 2-8 record, 1-5 in conference play. Trinity, of course, undefeated both at home and in the conference. And it was just kind of a very rough season for TLU overall, a ton of young players, and a lot of those young players getting experience last year, now entering the starting role. But it is very important to know that is the same for this Trinity University defense. A lot of defensive depth players last season ended up getting starts, getting key reps due to injuries for the starters, and this year they are all getting starting looks. Only one returning starter from week 1 of last year is starting this year, that starter being James O'Gunneran at linebacker. We are going to be looking at the Trinity University defense in just a little bit, but first we're going to be getting a look at the offense as TLU will be kicking this one off, and the kicker for this one is going to be Joaquin Rodriguez, the 5'9", 172-pound kicker out of San Antonio, Texas, the senior. And it is almost time to get this underway. In terms of the returners for Trinity University, Legend Grigsby, you see him on the left, or well, actually, you don't see him right now as the camera is focused on the ball. Grigsby going to be taking this one from the left side, and then on the other side is going to be Lamont Nickelberry, who got some big work in at punt return last season. Kick is away, and we are underway here as Grigsby going to take this one in the end zone. He's actually going to take it out of the end zone here across the 15, that's going to be about to the 18 or 19-yard line there. And so now we're going to get a look at this Trinity University offense to start it off. No longer under center is Tucker Horn, the 5-year quarterback for Trinity. Of course, after graduating at the end of last season, it's going to fall on the shoulders of Ryan Back. Back last season, 9 games, 486 yards, 7 touchdowns, and only 1 pick. And this team is very excited to see him play. Coach Urban, of course, nothing but complimentary of him. And we're going to get a look and see what this Trinity offense looks like. The first pass is complete over to Johnny Milo. Milo on the right side breaks one tackle, cuts back in, and he's going to get across the line for a first down before being brought down by a whole host of Bulldogs. And the first play here in 2024 for Trinity University results in a pretty nice 10-yard gain. Actually, it looks to be more about 10 or looks to be about 11 or 12 yards, actually. So already a first down here on the first play of the new year. Back, of course, in the backfield. Tight end goes into motion. Play action. The screen pass out there to the right-hand side. And again, brought down by a whole host of Bulldogs. Whenever I got to speak with Ryan Back earlier this week, he mentioned that getting ready for the first game of the season, even though it is a little bit more difficult because you don't exactly get to see the film of the other team, it is kind of a lot of excitement. It feels kind of like the day before Christmas, as he said, and that excitement has been building and building all summer long, and now we finally get to see it in action. In the backfield, that looks to be Winston Hutchison over to the right, Bub going into motion, and it is actually going to be a handoff there that gets Trinity across the first down line. So this offense moving very, very quickly here to start things off. Bope and Hutchison now coming off as they're going to get some water, get some rest. And already over a minute and a half gone in this first quarter. Coach Urban, in the lead up to this game, was talking about really wanting to put the pressure on TLU early. It is going to be another handoff here. Legend Grigsby now. Grigsby led the team in terms of rushing touchdowns last season. Didn't lead it in yards, though. That one went to Winston Hutchison, who's now coming onto the field, alongside Johnny Milo. Milo last season was the fourth running back in really a three running back system between, of course, Hutchison, Grigsby, and Carmouche. Carmouche, of course, graduating last year. But two of the big three running backs coming back, and if you count Milo, three of the big four. Milo going into motion, back going to pump fake. Now deep throw over to B.J. Rainey, almost taken away by the defense. Troy Tomaselli. He got an interception last season as well as two pass breakups, but his big role last season was actually in terms of the tackling. He led the team in solo tackles and almost was able to make a big defensive play there through the air, knocking that one down. That one intended for B.J. Rainey, the senior out of Cedar Hill, Texas, who got 24 receptions last year. No touchdowns, though. This is a very new receiving core for Trinity University. 4 of the top 5 receivers from last year no longer on the team. And now we're going to get a pause here, as that looks like it's going to be a delay of game penalty. So very surprising to see kind of a little bit of mental miscues there going on for Trinity. Of course, very early on in the season, so nothing really to be too concerned about now. But that is going to make it 3rd down and 12 here from the Trinity side of the field. Back steps back, pressure coming. He escapes, throws over the middle, diving catch. Not sure if he was able to get it. We're waiting for the sign from the official, and looks like it is going to be incomplete there. That one almost a huge play, but just a little bit too low for the receiver, as back was being pressured from basically all sides. And that will bring out the punt team. The punter here is going to be Jonathan Kahn, the freshman out of Austin, Texas. As Kahn going to take the snap. It's a clean kick, pressure in his face. And what a hit there on the return. That one looks like it is number 4. I don't think that one was Johnny Milo. That one, Cullen Betsy, the 5th-year defensive back out of San Antonio. And looking at the replay there, that was a fantastic hit. Also in the picture was Cade Rapson, number 40 for the Trinity defense, who are now out on the field. So again, only one returning starter from last season. Mentioned that towards the top of the broadcast. That starter is James O'Gunran, number 52. Run out to the right-hand side, and a great defensive play there as Tyson Cornett was one of the first people in. Cornett, one of the 4 team captains for this year, and he did get, of course, a few starts last year due to injury, but also kind of had a couple of injuries himself. He had 2 starts last year during the season opener against UMHB, as this one is going to be a little dump-off pass that goes for about 9 for a Bulldog first down. The other start there for Cornett was against Birmingham Southern. And that last play for the TLU offense, courtesy of Weston Guzman. It's going to be another handoff here to Guzman, who gets absolutely smothered. Johnny Nwobodo in for the tackle for a loss, as well as Steele Herndon, two defensive linemen who got some plays in last year. And under center, or well, actually now back in the gun for TLU is Caden Bosenko, the junior quarterback who got in some starts after an injury. to the previous starting quarterback and pressed very well. He's going to throw it out to the left-hand side. It is caught and complete on the left-hand side to Caleb Camarillo, the 5'11" wide receiver out of San Antonio, Texas. And TLU doing very well to keep the pressure up here. It is something that Coach LeHue talked about, making sure to take care of the ball and making sure to come out strong were two of the very big things that TLU needed to do, and they were able to do it by forcing a Trinity punt and now moving down the field very well. This is about the area where Trinity got stopped on their side of the field, and here on third down, Trinity trying to do the same, and they are able to do so there. Cade Rapson, the fifth-year senior out of the Woodlands, Texas, with a huge tackle for a loss, and now TLU looking like they're going to have to punt it away here on fourth and what looks to be about 3 or 4. The punt team coming out here, it's going to be Cameron Welch, the senior out of New Braunfels, had 42 attempts last season, averaged about 42.4 yards or net yards per attempt, and did have 14 that went to inside the 20. In terms of your returner for Trinity, it is going to be Lamont Nickelberry. Nickelberry did have a punt return touchdown last season, as the kick is away and clean. Nickelberry going to take this one at about the 11. He is going to try and return this one here, moving out to his left-hand side and able to get to about the 26-yard line. Trinity fans and sideline calling for the flag there for a late hit. Not going to get one, though, and not going to get a replay up yet, but it was a huge hit as Nickelberry went for the sideline. And now we're going to see what this Trinity offense is able to do. It's an offense that last year scored 30 or more points in every single regular season game. They weren't able to continue that momentum in the playoffs, unfortunately, as they won 20-6 against Hardin-Simmons and then ended up losing at 28-71 against number 1 ranked North Central. Back in the shotgun, Grigsby to his left. Takes a snap. It's going to be play action. Pressure coming, and back goes down. A big defensive play there by Tyler Ward, the sophomore linebacker out of Woodway, Texas. Did not play last year. He is one of the starters for this season, and he is really rewarding the coaching staff for making that decision with a big sack on first down. That is going to turn a 1st and 10 into a 2nd and 20 for this Trinity University offense. Back still in the shotgun, Grigsby to his left. In terms of your receivers, looks to be B.J. Rainey over to the left and Will Taylor over on the right-hand side. Back, takes a snap, drops back, looks, quick little pass over to Rainey. Rainey going to try and run for it, and Rainey gets about 9 or 10 there on that quick little pass to make it a slightly more manageable 3rd down situation. Going to go from 2nd and 20 to 3rd and 10. Fantastic to be back here in San Antonio once again. Trinity, of course, loved being at home last year with an undefeated 6-0 record. And it is always good to be playing in somewhat familiar, friendly confines. Back in the gun, 3 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. Takes a snap, takes a 3-step drop, fires, and it is off target, intended for B.J. Rainey. Pressure was coming there by number 52, Derek Dean, the junior linebacker out of Rockwall. And now Trinity is going to go 3 and out here and have 2 straight punts to start this game. Definitely not the offensive start that they were looking for, as Coach Urban, whenever talking about what they needed to do for this game, the main game plan was basically to win the first possession. They weren't able to do so on the first, unable to do so on the second, and now it's going to be another punt here for Kahn. Kahn, this one is blocked by the TLU defense, picked up at the 11, now running back for it, and it is going to be a score. The Texas Lutheran Bulldogs bring it in 4-6. Tristan Smith, the senior linebacker out of New Braunfels. Not sure who got the block there, but it was Smith who picked it up, and TLU on the board first here in 2024. A big mistake here for the Trinity University offense, as instead of striking first, they get struck first. And now we're going to see kicking is going to be Joaquin Rodriguez. He was perfect on extra points last season on all 23 attempts. Snap, hold, kick is up and good. And now the Texas Lutheran Bulldogs going to take a 7-point lead here to start this season opener. A very big surprise there. And TLU didn't get their first win until fairly late in the 2023 season. And they are really coming out of the gun very hard. Coach LeHue talking about how last year wasn't the best. The year before also had some injury struggles. But this year, everybody really excited and really ready to get things underway. And Trinity last season, more often than not, ended up scoring first, putting this kind of pressure on opponents. But now it is completely flipped around, with the Trinity offense really needing to respond here with 7:18 left to go in the first quarter. Of course, Texas Lutheran from Seguin, Texas, which is not exactly in San Antonio, but is fairly close to San Antonio, just about a 30-minute drive. And so that's why you've been able to see, whenever the camera pans back, a ton of fans in the TLU section, probably more away fans than personally I've ever seen while I've been here covering football. And Rodriguez is going to be kicking this one away with his team leading by 7 here in San Antonio. The kick is away. This one is going to be taken in there by Lamont Nickelberry. And we have whistles. So not entirely sure what's happening. I believe that one of the Trinity players, that looks to be Maddox Morkovsky, made a fair catch signal, thought that the ball was going to be going to him before it sailed over. The officials saw it and called the fair catch, even though it was taken in by Nickelberry. So a couple of mental miscues early here for Trinity University, as back going to hand this one off to Milo. Milo able to escape out of 1 tackle, but unable to escape out of 2. And so with 7 minutes left to go here in this first quarter, of course, time continuing to tick down. We'd just like to thank you all for joining us here on the Trinity Tiger Network. Trinity trailing by 7 here, but the Trinity offense trying it to turn that around. Back the throw over to Will Taylor, and Taylor, the captain, able to get this one across the sticks for a Trinity University first down. Will Taylor, of course, last season, the 4th wide receiver in a pretty stacked wide receiver group. Got a ton of experience, and of course, Coach Urban, nothing but complimentary of Taylor, talking about his maturity, his leadership of this team, and it's something that Trinity has definitely been leaning on so far during this offseason. Handoff there to Grigsby. Grigsby going to run it up to about the 42-yard line there. And Grigsby, again, a returning 5th-year senior, the 5'11", 170-pound back out of Houston. Grigsby was much more of a speed and receiving threat last year. A very shifty running back. He is in on the left-hand side. Back in the gun, takes the snap. It's going to be another handoff to Grigsby. Grigsby going to try and fight to get back to the line, and he will do, gaining about 1 there on the play. Players involved in the tackle looks to be Tyler Ward, the linebacker, as well as Derek Dean, another linebacker. And so Trinity just trying to move the ball down the field here And on 3rd down and 3, we'll see if they try to pass it or throw it. So far during this game, Trinity has kind of struggled a little bit on 3rd downs, 0-2. This pass is deflected at the line. Diego Avila, the sophomore linebacker out of Allen, with a big pass breakup there. And once again, Trinity going to have to punt. And this kind of lack of momentum for the Trinity University Tigers, not something that we have been used to over the last couple of seasons. But shaking off the rust, getting a fairly new unit in is always going to be a little bit of a struggle. And so we'll see if Trinity is able to kind of rebound here as Khan, again, the last punt was blocked. This one is away cleanly. And the returner gets absolutely demolished in there on the tackle. And it was a good tackle. John Cole McAdams, the junior defensive back out of Seguin, the returner there was actually not the returner listed on the depth chart. Looks like it was Mason Hardy, the senior defensive back, who tried to return that one and was unable to get much, if anything. There was a flag on the play, that one for holding. And so the ball going to move in TLU's favor by about 5 yards. Up to, looks like they're going to spot it at about the 35-yard line. And so now coming back out on the offense is going to be Caden Bosenko, the junior out of San Antonio. He's a big threat not only with his arm, but also on the ground, something that the defensive players are talking about a lot this week. Got to make sure to limit his mobility. It's going to be a handoff here, moving over to the right-hand side, and finally being brought down there. That one is going to be Chase Patek, the senior out of Victoria, Texas. 5'8", 190 pounds. Did have a receiving touchdown last season. Didn't get any rushing stats for the wide receivers or any receiving stats for the running backs. This one, Bosenko drops back, fires off to the right side. This one is complete on the right-hand side. Caleb Klosterman, the senior wide receiver out of Lyford, Texas, didn't get any playing time last season and gets a big gain there to move the ball up to exactly midfield and get another TLU first down. Bosenko going to be back in the backfield once again, joined by Guzman. The throw over to the right-hand side. A big hit on the reception, but taken in nonetheless. That one, Eugene Robinson, the 5'6", 175-pound product out of Lake Charles. And a big gain there for the Bulldogs as the ball moves from the 50 to the 31-yard line. A gain of 19 on the catch. And so Bosenko now with Guzman to his left. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. The throw is out to Robinson once again. And this one going to be brought down after a gain of about 6. This is a TLU unit which, despite their 2-8 record from last season, really their record is not indicative of their performances. Despite the kind of overwhelmingly losing record, TLU in basically every single one of their average games had a score of 25-27 in favor, of course, of the other team. But they had a ton of very, very close games that just resulted in unfortunate losses. And sometimes the record is not indicative of the strength of a team. And you're seeing it right now. TLU with the ball just a few yards away from the red zone. That's Bennett going into motion. Bosenko going to pitch it over to Guzman. Guzman has space ahead of him, and Guzman going to dive for it, waiting for the signal from the official, and looks like they're going to say he was a yard short on the dive for 6. Going to get the replay here. Bennett went into motion, and then it was just a simple pitch option there. Guzman had not very much space on the left-hand side, but it was eventually stopped by Anthony Njoku. So now Trinity crowd starting to get loud. TLU at the 1, handoff. Guzman going up the middle, waiting for the signal from the officials, and looks like Trinity was able to get the defensive stop there at the 1. They are going to respot it exactly at the 1-yard line, maybe just a little bit closer than it was before. And as you can see there on the replay, Trinity doing a good job of swarming to the ball. And TOU really running through Guzman at the moment. It's something that Coach Neil LaHue was talking about in the phone call yesterday, as they're going to try and go for the quarterback sneak, trying to get it in. We'll see if they're able to. There's a very late flag. And now we're waiting to see whether or not they're going to hold it up. Believe that they were able to stop him short. We're going to try and see what the flag is here. Hearing that it might be an illegal formation as they tried kind of like a Philly tush-push situation, but Bosenko was moving whenever he took the snap. We'll see what it is here, and TLU is walking back. They're going to call it an illegal shift. I believe they're going to call it that because both Bosenko and Guzman were running up at the same time. You can only have one person shifting simultaneously. And so that is going to move the ball from the 1 to the 6. Actually, looks like they're going to put it at the 5. And TOU waiting to get the play in, and now we're going to get a timeout by Texas Lutheran, the first timeout of the day. So the players down the field going to take a timeout. We're going to take a timeout as well on the Trinity Tiger Network, and we will be right back here with 1:41 left in the first quarter whenever we come back. Welcome back, everybody, to the Trinity Tiger Network here. TLU inside of the 5-yard line here, and whistles blowing. A flag is out. Believe that, yes, this is going to be a false start. So 2 straight flags mean that TLU go from the 1-yard line, and they just keep on going backwards here. And a couple of big breaks for the Trinity University defense. The crowd really starting to get into it now. Starting to get loud, starting to make noise. The cowbells are out. The stomping in the bleachers is out. Everybody is getting ready for this second down and goal from the 10-yard line. Bennett going into motion. They're going to try that pitch option on the right-hand side. Bosenko not going to get much there, if anything. It's going to be a gain of about 3 or 4 up to the 6-yard line. And now TLU going to face third down here on the 7-yard line. The Trinity University red zone defense last season was pretty good with a 69% stop completion or stop percentage. And we'll see if this defense is able to mimic the success of last year in these pressure situations. 3rd down and goal. Ball on the 7-yard line. Bosenko back in the shotgun. Guzman over to his right. Fakes the handoff to Guzman. Bosenko gonna throw it. Pressure coming. Bosenko tries to scramble out of it. The throw. It's intercepted. Taken away by the Trinity University defense. And what a fantastic play by the senior captain, Tyson Cornett. The former wide receiver moved over to defensive back a couple of seasons ago, and he makes a big play to keep the TLU Bulldogs out of the end zone. A huge defensive play here. We're going to get the replay. The play action to Guzman. The rollover pressure came over by Elijah Gonzalez, the freshman defensive lineman, and Cornett. The ball just fell right into his hands, and the celebrations begin for Trinity University. The two captains you saw there celebrating, Tyson Cornett, of course, and Cade Rapson, number 40, the linebacker. He is the other defensive captain as well on this team. And what a huge momentum swinging play here, as Trinity perhaps going to try and carry that defensive momentum over into offense. Back in the shotgun, it's going to be Winston Hutchison to his left. Actually, receiver going into motion here and taking off with it just a little bit out to the right-hand side. And looks like that's going to be actually a loss on the play, as Eddie Brown, the cornerback, got in to disrupt the play. In terms of the rusher there for Trinity University, it was Jackson Williams, the junior running back out of Manor. And so one more play going to be taken here by the Trinity University offense here in this first quarter. Difference of about 5 seconds between play and game clock. Grigsby going into motion. It is going to be a handoff here to Hutchison, and Hutchison almost broke through. There was nobody in front of him, but the doors just closed in there from both sides of the linebacker position, and that is going to be the end of the first quarter. Trinity trails, but momentum on their side whenever we come back from Trinity University here in San Antonio. 7-0, your score in favor of the Bulldogs, but the Tigers with the ball whenever we come back. Welcome back, everybody, here to Trinity University in San Antonio, Texas. As Ryan back in the shotgun, going to hand this one off to Winston Hutchison, who is going to get a gain of about 3 or 4 yards. Trinity scoreless on their first few possessions of this game. TLU managed to score on a blocked punt by Trinity, but both offenses have been kind of quiet so far. It's been really a defensive showdown, as both teams have turnovers. Of course, Trinity the blocked punt, TLU most recently with the end zone interception by Tyson Cornett. The ball comes loose for Grigsby, diving for the ball. We're going to see who's going to get it. TLU says they do. It's a pile right now, and waiting to get official confirmation. Grigsby, looks like Grigsby originally got it, but then it slipped out, and it is going to be TLU ball at the 35-yard line. So 2 very big turnovers here for Trinity. to start this game, and now we do have a player down for TLU. Going to be Eddie Brown, the cornerback, who is now walking off the field. But a couple of big momentum-changing plays here during this game. TLU, of course, getting the blocked punt for a score, and now a very, very crucial fumble there, and a very rare fumble by Grigsby. Didn't see that a ton last year. And so now we're going to get another look here at Caden Bosenko. Guzman going into motion. It's going to be a handoff here, and running out to the left-hand side is Jackson Bennett, the senior out of Rockwall. Bennett last season, 2 games played, 5 rushes in those 2 games, and only 9 yards. So far here today, looks like that is going to be his first of the day for a gain of 1. Taken down by James Gunren and Cade Rabson. And now we're going to see what the TLU offense will be doing here on 2nd down and 9. Coach LaHue was talking about wanting to get the run game started, mixing up with a couple of pass plays, but mainly focusing on their game on the ground. It's going to be another handoff here to Guzman, and Guzman is going to be taken down quick. Tyson Cornett, he has been everywhere on defense so far today, and he continues to make an impact here with a big tackle for a loss. He had one of them last season in his 5 games played, but he was able to get the stop there, along with James O'Gunran coming in to finish off that play on the assist. A fantastic defensive play there makes it change from 2nd down and 9 to 3rd and 12. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, running back to Bosenko's left. Guzman back. It's going to be play action. Bosenko, pressure coming. He's going to try and scramble out to the left-hand side. The throw, it is caught on the sideline. A big catch there by Caleb Camarillo, who played in all 10 games last season and did have a receiving touchdown, 242 yards, one of the team's leaders in that category. The pressure there looked like it was coming from either Elijah Gonzalez or Steele Herndon on the Trinity defensive side. I believe it was, in fact, Herndon, but just unable to get there in time, and now it's going to be a TLU 1st down. Bosenko in the empty, the throw over, and breaks a couple of tackles before finally moving up to the 10-yard line. Once again, Camarillo with a big reception. A couple of Trinity defensive players coming on, couple coming off. It's going to be Herndon and Trey Green coming off for Trinity, and coming on John Cole McAdams, and believe that was Elijah Gonzalez. Bosenko in the gun, hands it off to Guzman once again, and Guzman only going to be able to get about a yard or 2 before being brought down. It's going to be pretty close to the 1st down line, but not enough, as it will be 3rd down and inches here in the red zone. Again, Trinity's red zone defense last season, 69%. And they were able to get the stop last time. We'll see what they're able to do this time here. Bosenko in the gun. It's going to be a handoff to Guzman, and Guzman able to break through for the 1st down, but unable to break through for the score as he gets down to about the 2-yard line here, and will set up a goal-to-go situation for Texas Lutheran University. They scored on 81% of their red zone opportunities last season, but this is a team that has really stepped it up this season, as it's going to be a throw out to the left-hand side. The play action fooled me there for a second, but the big defensive stop there on the left-hand side. Going to get the replay there as the tight end went across the back. That tight end was Cole Andrus, the senior out of Jordanton. Andrus now coming off in exchange for Chris Taylor, the tight end, as well as one of the TLU running backs. That's going to be Nehemiah Murray. Receiver going into motion. Handoff. Murray spin, trying to get across the line, and he is in for a Bulldog touchdown. And TLU taking advantage of the turnovers. They scored they scored the last time they got a turnover with a blocked punt, and they score once again off of the fumble. And Trinity finding themselves in a hole that they are really not used to after last season. Lining up for the kick once again is going to be Joaquin Rodriguez. Rodriguez perfect on extra points last season, perfect so far today. And he continues that with a kick that looks like it went over to the right just a little bit. Pressure came over on the left-hand side from the Trinity University defense, but unable to force the miss or the block. And so now Trinity finds themselves down by 14 here. It's a situation that they didn't find themselves in a ton last season. Really the only situation that I can think of where they kind of struggled like this was against Barry last season. That game, of course, being a massive shootout between two powerhouses in the SAA, a 46-37 final in that Trinity victory over in Georgia. Trinity came into this game as the number 13 ranked team in Division III. Of course, a lot of questions revolving around the loss of starting quarterback Tucker Horn, a majority of the receiving core, and basically all of the defense. And even though it will take some time to get used to the new faces on this team, it is a team that Coach Urban said it isn't a rebuild, it's more of a reload for this Trinity University roster. And so Rodriguez is going to be kicking this one off again for the third time here today. This one is away and taken in by Grigsby at about the 15. Grigsby moving over to his right-hand side. Good blocks coming in from Nickelberry, and Grigsby going to go over to about the 42-yard line before running out of bounds. So a good kick return there by the fifth-year senior, who last season had 7 kick returns, a longest kick return of 61 yards. Wasn't able to get a score on that kick return. In fact, nobody for Trinity got a kick return touchdown last season. Lamont Nickelberry, the only return touchdown coming off of a punt. So now Ryan back in the backfield once again. Looks like it's going to be Hutchison again on his right-hand side. No, sorry, that is Barry. Back, the throw over the middle is complete, but basically went right back to the line of scrimmage there. Maybe a gain of 1 or 2. And Trinity not really looking to risk the deep ball just yet. And so here we go, back once again in the backfield. In shotgun as usual, and Zay Huerta over on his right-hand side. Back, drops back, takes the pass, throws over to the left-hand side. It is taken in by Will Taylor for the big first down. Will Taylor, the junior, has been very, very impressive so far during camp and stepping up into his leadership role. One of the few returners of this receiving core. And what an athletic catch there to get the first down. And hopefully going to try and get some Trinity momentum here. Back in the backfield, Hutchison to his left, Grigsby to his right. 2 receivers on either side. It is going to be a handoff here to Hutchison. Hutchison breaking through and able to get the first down for Trinity. Had a pretty good opening there as the seas parted on the offensive line. And this is a very experienced returning offensive line. Every single one of the starting unit from last season coming back. And you saw there on the replay, Hutchison tried to cut back over to the left, was unable to do so. But that big burst is really a big reason why Hutchison led the team last year in rushing yards with 433. Back, takes a snap, handoff, Grigsby. Grigsby going to fight forward for everything that he can get. Only going to get about 2 or 3 here before getting stood up at the line. Milo, Bope, and Teal coming on in exchange for both Grigsby and Carmouche. Or, sorry, not Carmouche, Hutchison. And we'll see what this Trinity University offense is able to do here on 2nd down and 8. Back in the gun, Milo to his right. Takes a snap, drops back 3, fires to the left-hand side, and unable to be brought in by Will Taylor, just a bit off the mark and off the hands, as it was almost taken in there by the TLU defense, as Mason Hardy was in the area for potentially a pick. Saw there that close play on the replay. And now Trinity once again facing a 3rd down situation. 3rd down and 8. So far, they are 0-3 on 3rd down conversions this game. Back, takes a snap, drops back, surveys the field, fires to the right middle side. B.J. Rainey with the big catch at the 13-yard line. And Trinity going to continue momentum and get into the Bulldog red zone here with a bit under 7.5 minutes to go. A fantastic offensive play there. Trinity's kind of struggled with passing on 3rd down so far, but they were able to get a big one there. Looking at the replay, Back was pretty much unpressured there, and Rainey, just a neat little curl route, came open and got across for the 1st down. Back calling out the adjustments to the offensive line. TLU moving around. A lot of the TLU defenders in the box. Back, drops back. He's going to move over to his right-hand side. Lifts it over and incomplete. As he just kind of threw it away. Wanted to make sure that he didn't end up throwing an ill-advised pass. And so that will make it now 2nd down and 10. Not a 2nd and goal situation, as the 1st down line is going to be at the... That looks like it's going to be at the 6-yard line. Ball on the 16. Hutchison on the right-hand side, back in the gun. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Hutchison going to take off with it, and Hutchison going to be brought down there by the TLU defense. Diego Avila, the sophomore out of Allen, with a pretty good tackle there to keep the ball at the line and turn what could have been a big gain by Hutchison into a 3rd down and 9 situation. So Trinity, after getting the 3rd down earlier on in this drive, hoping to get another one here. But one of the big issues with red zone offense situations is that the defense has a lot less room to cover. Back in the shotgun, Grigsby to his left. Now Grigsby motioning over to the right-hand side. It is going to be a little dump-off pass to Grigsby. Grigsby has space. He has blockers, and he has 6. Trinity University gets on the boards. The confetti starts firing, and finally, Trinity gets their first touchdown of the regular season with a big drive with a couple of big conversions. Receivers did their job blocking. Grigsby did his job running. He led the team in touchdowns last season. At least he led the team in terms of rushing touchdowns last season, and he gets the first this year. Now, we're going to get a look at Tyler Huddle, the preseason All-American out of McKinney. The snap, the hold by Raider Horn, and the kick is good. And so Trinity cuts that deficit in half and gets their first 7 of the season. And hopefully a little bit of momentum. And so with Trinity getting their first touchdown of the season, they're going to kick it off for the first time this season as well. Once again, Tyler Huddle, the kicker for this one. On kickoffs last season, he had 83 kickoffs, 36 of them resulted in touchbacks. And he's got a pretty good-sized leg, able to boot the ball away. Huddle and the Trinity defense lining up, getting ready here. In terms of the returner, it's going to be Eugene Robinson and Dominic Castellanos on either side for the return. Huddle boots this one away, taken in, actually a fair catch called there by Robinson, and it rolls out of the back of the end zone. And a little bit of extra shoving there after that play down over by the near side 30-yard line. So the TOU offense is going to come out once again. They scored on their last possession, that last possession coming with very favorable field position after a Legend Grigsby fumbled. This is going to be the first time that TOU has gotten possession not off of a turnover. This one taken in by Guzman. Guzman cuts back inside and able to take it up with a gain of about 4. TOU was, of course, able to take over by a couple of Trinity punts, but this is the first possession for TOU, which has started at the 25 so far today. And so it's Caden Bosenko back in the backfield. Guzman over to his right once again. It's going to be the handoff, actually not to Guzman, but instead to Jackson Bennett, who gets absolutely smothered at the line. And now we have late flags coming in. Looking to see what these flags are. Typically, whenever it's late, it's going to be some kind of conduct penalty. And the Trinity defense looks like they're starting to move back, so they believe that it might be on them. And it will be. And it is going to be on the Trinity defense, so a pretty big penalty there. Moves the ball up to the 46-yard line. And that's something that was kind of a big point of contention during the earlier scrimmage against Blinn last Thursday. So that would have been about 10 days ago. As the team just talked about trying to stay disciplined. And discipline going to be a big factor during this one. Bennett goes into motion. It's going to be a fake handoff. Bosenko, the deep throw. It is caught deep. What a catch by Caleb Klosterman. Able to move the ball up to within the Trinity red zone. And TLU taking advantage there of the penalty to essentially take a shot play. And already they are in scoring position here. Going to get the replay here. Bennett went into motion. And Klosterman just found himself wide open there on that little outside post. Able to move up to the 16-yard line. Bosenko, play action. He's going to move over to the right and finally get taken out of bounds at about the 18-yard line. So that's going to be a gain of about 2 or 3 yards there. And with 4 minutes to go, we'll see if TLU will want to try and burn some clock or if they just want to try and get in the end zone as much as possible and as fast as possible. Bosenko again back in the shotgun. Receiver going into motion now. It is going to be a fake handoff. The pass, the dive for the end zone, and it is in for Cole Andrus, the senior tight end. Didn't score last season, an all-conference tight end in the ASC. And TLU extends their lead out to 13, trying to make it 14 here with the extra point. A great little play there over the middle there for TLU. As now we're going to see if Rodriguez can keep his perfect streak going. So far, 2 for 2 on the day for extra points. He kicks this one through and makes it 3 for 3 during this one. And TLU really kind of shocking a lot of the Trinity fans here, and definitely making this little 30-minute road trip for the Bulldog supporters a little bit more enjoyable, as they lead 21-7 with 3:42 left in the first half. And we'll see what this Trinity offense is able to do. Once again, it's going to be Grigsby and Lamont Nickelberry back to return. Grigsby last season, in terms of kick returning, 7 returns, averaged about 27, 28 yards on his returns. Nickelberry averaged about 30 with 29.5 on his 10 returns. And so getting ready for the kickoff once again is going to be Rodriguez. Fourth time today he's done it. And this one is a low one that ends up going out of bounds at about the 14-yard line. So that's going to be an illegal kick out of bounds and give Trinity favorable field position to start their drive. You see there on your screen the Trinity offense huddling up and now breaking the huddle, moving over to start their drive at the 35. The Trinity offense last season averaged roughly about 300 yards per game through the air last season. And so far, it's been mainly the ground attack. Back, drops back, pressure from his left-hand side. He throws it over to the sideline for the throwaway. And that'll set up a 2nd down and 10 situation once again. TLU's defense has done a fantastic job so far this year. They they kind of struggled a little bit defensively last season, allowing just a smidge over 400 yards per game last season. And this is going to be a handoff to Hutchison. Hutchison thought about breaking through. There's a flag, and looks like this one might be coming back. Believe this one might be on Alex Teal there, the tight end. And looks like it's going to be called for holding there. As you saw there, just on the corner of that replay, Teal kind of essentially tackled the defender. And it is indeed going to be offensive holding. Trinity crowd not exactly happy with that decision. And we will see how that affects this drive, as Trinity now has a 2nd and 18 to work with. Grigsby now in the backfield, not Hutchison. Has 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Grigsby goes into motion. Back, drops back. It's going to be a pass that's batted at the line, going back to the quarterback and brought down at about the 15-yard line. That could have been incredibly dangerous there, as it could have been picked off. There were 2 TLU defenders in the area, and this TLU defense has been really putting the pressure on Ryan Back and the offense. A very big heads-up play there by Back to pick the ball up out of the air. But now it is a long 3rd down and 30 for the Trinity offense. They need to get to the 45-yard line. It's going to be a handoff here to Grigsby. Grigsby cutting through and up to the 24-yard line. Looks like they were just using that play to kind of generate some space there for Jonathan Kahn to punt it away. as they are going to bring out the punt team here on 4th down and what looks to be about 21-22. Returning this punt is going to be Eugene Robinson. Robinson, the senior out of Lake Charles, had 10 punt returns, played in 10 games last season, 25 punt returns, and averaged about 21 yards or so on those punt returns. We are going to take a quick little timeout here, as both teams on the field do, and we're going to be right back here on the Trinity Tiger Network. Welcome back, everybody, to Trinity University here. TOU leading 21-7 over the Trinity University Tigers. And Trinity about to punt this one away as Kahn gets this one away cleanly. Robinson going to think about taking this one in, and instead it's just going to roll out at about the 31-yard line. So with under 2 minutes to go here in this first half, just kind of a recap of everything that's happened so far. TOU got on the back for 7. TOU then scored again thanks to a Legend Grigsby fumble at about the 33-34 line, resulting in an offensive drive that put the ball in the end zone. Trinity then scored on their own pretty lengthy offensive possession here in the second quarter, but then TOU responded with another good drive of their own. TOU getting the ball back once again, and smothered by a whole host of Tigers there. Looks like Steele Herndon was involved in the tackle, as well as Cade Rapson and, I believe, Ferris Rafi. So it looks like Rafi was the first to get in there, and then Herndon took him down from behind. So far on the day, it has been a very good day for TLU. And we are going to get another timeout here. And so we are going to take another timeout as well as we near the conclusion of this first half. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to Trinity University here, San Antonio, Texas, as Caden Bosenko hoping to finish off the very impressive first half for Texas Lutheran with another scoring drive. Bosenko drops back, pressure coming. Bosenko's going to take off with it himself, and he's going to go down at about the 45-yard line there. Rabson had to hurdle over them and actually ended up clipping his shoulder pad just a little bit there. And another stoppage, as this one is going to be a timeout by Trinity University. Trinity, of course, on the defense side of the ball, not bringing back a ton of starters. Only James O'Gunneran at linebacker is a returning starter. However, they are bringing back a lot of players with knowledge of playing as a Trinity Tiger. A ton of very familiar names, of course, on the defensive line. Max Shillstone, Steele Herndon, all got starts, as well as Johnny Johnny Nwobodo. Cade Rabson, of course, was a very big player on the special teams side of the ball. And in terms of the secondary, Trey Green, of course, a very big name. Delvin Gant also got intermittent reps in the defensive secondary. So this is an experienced secondary, just one that isn't used to starting the game out on the field. TOU, once again, with the ball. Bosenko fakes the handoff, rolling out to his right. It is a high pass, and it is a pass that is completed over to his target, Nehemiah Murray. Trinity fans unhappy with some actions after the play. And TLU letting this clock run out. They have 2 timeouts remaining. Trinity with 1 timeout remaining here in this half. Bosenko takes a snap, drops back, moving out to his right-hand side. Pressure in his face. He is just going to throw this one away there as it was James O'Gunran on the pressure. O'Gunran last season led the team in fumble recoveries, but had a lot of pressures as well. Did have a sack to his name, along with 56 total tackles, which was good for 3rd on the team. Behind, of course, Caleb Harmel, who not only was an All-American, but who we saw in the chat earlier today. Always good to see Tiger alumni, but also Mac Douglas, who was the other linebacker in that 4-linebacker front. TJ Scannell coming in there from the side as Bosenko thought about the run. It was a great read there by Scannell, who was a junior out of San Antonio, Texas. And Scannell also, of course, if that name sounds familiar and you are a frequent Tiger Network viewer, you would know that Scannell is also the name of the Trinity University baseball coach. And so with 30 seconds to go here, looking like only one more play will be taken here by TLU. We'll see if they try and go for a shot or if they just want to run this clock out. They do have the players try and take a shot as Bennett and Guzman are in. It is going to be a actually looks like it's going to be a timeout there as TLU wanted to stop the play just before the snap took place. So once again, we're going to take a quick little break here on the Trinity Tiger Network, and we will be back for the final 15 seconds of the first half whenever we come back. And so getting ready for the final 15 seconds here of this first half, TLU. Bosenko takes a snap. Pressure coming. He's going to try and throw it away. He does get it away in time. Guzman able to pick that one up. And actually the ball comes loose. Trinity fighting for it. And Trinity is going to take over. 1 second left on the clock. This half is not over yet. The Trinity University Tigers taking advantage there as the play got broken. Bosenko had to step up as the pressure there came in from Shillstone, and then Guzman there fumbled it on the hit, moving, trying to see who was the first person on the ball. It was Tyson Cornett once again. Cornett has been everywhere. He's got an interception. He's had multiple tackles for a loss so far today, and now he gets a fumble recovery here with 1 second to go on the clock. And this half is not over yet. A big momentum shifting play. We'll see what this Trinity offense is able to do TLU in the prevent defense coverage. Back steps up. He's going to launch it downfield. The ball is batted and gonna be incomplete. Almost there, as I believe the receiver there for Trinity was Berend Calden, who was down on the ground ready to get that one. It was tipped by the defense, but Calden just barely unable to get it. It's a game of inches, and those inches right there could have been a huge momentum shifter, but no matter what, Trinity goes into the locker room down by 2 possessions, and we'll see if the offense is able to come back just a little bit stronger whenever we come back here on the Trinity Tiger Network. A 20-minute halftime coming up, and make sure to watch all of the on-the-field activities while we take a break here on the Trinity Tiger Network. not gotten after Bosenko so far, and that's probably one of the big reasons why they have found it hard to stop the CLU offense once they get the ball. And so now TLU getting ready to begin this second half of play. We have there was a flag at the end of that one. Not entirely sure what the flag was for. It looks like it's going to be for potentially some kind of unsportsmanlike conduct here as the ball was moved 15 yards forward. Bennett going into motion now. Bosenko takes a snap. It's going to be a handoff here to Guzman. Guzman stiff arms through one and not able to get through another. Fantastic defensive play by Delvin Gant, the sophomore defensive back out of Burton. And once again, the Trinity defense featuring a lot of players who got reps last season and mainly in depth roles, really stepping up in the starting role this season. Bosenko takes a snap, pump fakes out to his left, now rolling out to his right. Pass is tipped by Cade Rapson, incomplete. Rapson, a big player on special teams last season, coming up big on the defense side of the ball this year.
Yeah, back-to-back plays here to open the second half for Rapson. Very nice. He forced the runner outside on first down, and then second down he gets the pass breakup and knocked it up in the air long enough. Thought it might have a chance to get underneath that one, but it falls silently for TLU. Now it's long, 3rd and long.
Trinity crowd definitely not silent here on 3rd down. Bosenko pressured, flush out to his left-hand side. He gets tripped up. He throws it away. Trinity defense coming up big here on 3rd down. TLU was 4 for 7 in the first half, and they go 0-1 to start the second, as that was a great defensive chase down there.
Yeah, and once again, Rapson giving chase. Not a bad way to start off the second half. And as you mentioned, the only bad part about the second half so far for Trinity was whatever that personal foul was called that allowed TLU to move the ball up here to the 40-yard line. Because otherwise, Trinity would be looking at having great field position to start the second half.
Punt is away. Pressure was applied there by TJ Scannell. And the ball looks like it's going to be taking a couple of friendly Trinity hops before finally being down by TLU. Looks like it was Justin Navarro, the safety there, who downed that ball. And so now we're going to get a look at the Trinity offense, which really uncharacteristically struggled during the first half. A couple of turnovers, which were, of course, not expected at all, but only 69 passing yards for Ryan Back during the first half. Leading rusher was Winston Hutchison with 40. And it was just a first half where the offense never really got rolling. Back in the shotgun, takes a snap. He's going to drop back 3. Looks, fires it over to Hutchison. Hutchison cuts back over to the outside and going to get a good gain of about 8 to set up second and short.
Yeah, about the average that he's had for his completions. Had 9 for 17 for 69 yards. About 7 yards of completion. This one going for 8. Trinity's going to have to do a little bit of this, trying to get the ball kind of in the right, 5-6 yards at a time before they can try to open it up.
Trinity on the offense side just trying to get any kind of momentum after a dismal first half. Going to hand it off to Grigsby. Grigsby going to force a hole through the middle and get the first down on the gain of 4.
6th carry for Legend Grigsby, and now he was 14 yards before that. That's only going to be 3 yards there, but a huge first down.
Grigsby and Hutchison were really part of the big 1-2-3 punch last season. Definitely a big 1-2 punch this year as well, with Johnny Milo looking to potentially get extra reps in that 3 spot. Back in the shotgun, takes a snap, dropping back, looking, firing over the middle. It is complete. Will Taylor. Will Taylor breaking through. Will Taylor up to the 33-yard line before being brought down, and a big Trinity play over the middle.
Yeah, as you get the replay here, Will Taylor on the lower part of your screen, you won't see it on screen, but he runs a perfect route right behind the defensive back into the slot and opens up a nice big cushion there for Back to find him. Even if he was a little bit off target, that was going to be enough to make that catch and a big first down.
The defender there, Tristan Smith, the senior linebacker out of New Braunfels, out in his zone coverage. Taylor just got behind it. And now we'll see what this offense is able to do. It's a double reverse as Nickelberry moves up now to the 25-yard line. Lamont Nickelberry last season only played in special teams roles, but now this season getting a lot more involved in the offense.
Yeah, and a little bit of the bag of tricks coming out here for the Trinity offense. And hopefully that's a good sign that the coaching staff and the team feel like they're clicking again. Because normally you won't pull out all of those, trick plays or whatever else you got unless you really feel like you're connecting and you're moving, as they have been here on the last 4 or 5 plays.
Back in the shotgun, Milo to his right. Milo going to take the handoff. Actually, no, it's going to be play action, and it's just thrown away. Looks like it was Tyson Hancock who was going to be the target of a screen if he was not defended heavily, and it is just going to result in an incompletion and set up 3rd down and 3.
Yeah, that's senior leadership right there. Ryan Back knew that if he tried to force that issue, that had a chance to maybe be pick sixed all the way back, and said, hey, we've still got 3rd and 3 if I throw this one away.
It's going to be a handoff here by Milo. Milo's going to get the first down and then a couple extra as he gets stopped right at about the 20-yard line there. Players in the area, looks like it was Tyler Ward, the sophomore linebacker out of Woodway, one of the first people to get in there.
Yeah, and with Back throwing that last pass away, had confidence in what the offense was doing, and now Milo comes in, picks up 5 on a 3rd and 3.
Milo's still in there. Now on the left side of Ryan Back, 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right for the Trinity offense. It's going to be a fake handoff. Back, stepping back, pressure coming. He rolls out to his right. Back going to run out of bounds at about the 22, 23-yard line. And again, you mentioned senior leadership making smart plays and just doing a good job there of surviving and living to see another play.
Yeah, and Texas Lutheran, their safety came up and chipped Will Powell. It looked like Will was going to have that initial break. Very similar play to the one where he was wide open just about 3 or 4 plays ago. But the safety came up and basically just kind of stepped right in front of what was going to be that passing lane and took that away from Back. So that's why he rolled out and tried to make an effort of it. And I think he lost a few here as it looks like it's 2nd and 14.
2nd down and 14. Back gives the handoff to Grigsby. Grigsby going to move up to the 15-yard line and turn a 2nd and 14 into what looks to be about 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. And so we'll see what the Trinity offense is able to do here. They really struggled on 3rd downs in the first half before, of course, that big scoring drive. We'll see if they're able to turn that around here in the second.
Yeah, nice big block by Caleb Byer there for Grigsby to run through and get an extra yard or 2. The run game's looked really strong here the last 5, 6 plays.
Back, takes the snap. He's going to drop back. It's a pass. Pump fakes, throws to the right-hand side and just a bit too far there for Will Taylor. Was a good play design there as Taylor had a bit of space, but the overthrow there by Back means that it will be a 4th down, and we're going to get to see Tyler Huddle coming out here. Huddle last season in terms of field goals was 10 for 15, so a 2/3 kicking percentage. He does have the tied record for the longest field goal in school history, though. This one not going to really be in that range.
Yeah, and I'll go back to that last play after Huddle kicks this one.
It is up, and it is through the uprights there. Pressure came in from the side, but either way, it is up and through the uprights for 3. And
so on that 3rd down play, though, the one thing I saw was Back pretty much locked in on his right-hand side. What you might have seen on the replay was Alex Steele just wide open right around the G and the E of Tigers in the end zone with nobody within 5 to 10 yards of him. So I think when they look back and look at film, they're going to want to see that one and then start saying, like, hey, we've got to go through those progressions as we go through. Because that could have been 4 more points here on this drive. But if you're a Tiger fan, you're going to love the fact that you got, 3 more and you've cut this lead a little bit. But You're going to need to see that defense come back out as strong as they did.
It is. I think that I think they're going to call interference there as the TLU defender got in the face of Nickelberry, made it almost impossible to get that one. We'll see what the officials decide to call there. If they don't call it, it is going to be TLU ball, but the Trinity defense isn't really moving very quickly to get back on the field, so I think that it is going to remain Trinity ball. And yes, kick interference, so it will be And so it will remain Trinity ball here. And that is going to move the ball all the way up to the 45-yard line of TLU. So Trinity had a couple of mental errors during the first half that gave that gave TLU favorable field position. Now it is completely flipped around. TLU with the mental error that gives Trinity the advantage. Back in the shotgun here. Grigsby going into motion. It is going to be a handoff. Winston Hutchison, who gets a good gain of 5 and brought down at the 39-yard line. And so, yes, kick-catching interference was the call there on the flag. And so now with second down, and that looks to be about 4 to go. Trinity going to hope to continue a second half that has really been a lot more favorable to them than the first, at least so far to start. 7:15 left to go here in the third quarter. Grigsby takes this one. He gets kind of hooked up a little bit there at the line, but either way, he gets 10, and he moves up and gets the Trinity University first down. I'm going to look at the replay here because it looks like Grigsby kind of got caught up there around the face or helmet area. He got spun around there. Not sure if the defender caught the face mask or the shoulder pad, but either way, Grigsby with a good power run to move the ball 10 yards forward and get the Trinity University first down.
Apologies if our audio went out. I think we're back now.
The run up the middle, actually, to Hutchison, the misdirection kind of fooled everybody there. Grigsby moved out to the outside. Back looked like he had the ball getting ready to pass, but Hutchison kind of sneaking up through the middle of the line, able to get the ball across the line for a first down, and kind of pounded the ground there a little bit, thinking that he could have gotten a lot more out of that play. But either way, 9 minutes gone in this second half already. Trinity hoping to score again. Back, takes a snap, looks, pump fakes out to his right. Pressure coming. He scrambles out to the left. Now back, going to slide down after on the sack. It's going to be a loss of about 3 or 4 there, but crucially, ball remains with Trinity.
Yeah, maybe a best possible outcome on a sack. Look at how back avoids maybe a fumble right here. And maybe it wasn't as close. Could have been holding called right there, but then you've got, as you said, the 3 or 4 yard sack. I thought originally when back had turned, he had the ball more in line with the defender who just barely missed him.
Back in the gun, running back to his right. B.J. Rainey now coming into motion. Back takes a snap. It is going to be a handoff and a run up to about the 20-yard line, so basically resetting the drive and setting up a 3rd down and 10 situation here. 2 players coming on for Trinity is going to be Sebastian Trevino, as well as, believe that is, yes, legend Grigsby coming back onto the field. And so now let's see what this Trinity offense is able to do here on 3rd down. They struggled with it in the first half, have been pretty good with it in the second. What can they do here on 3rd down and 12? TLU defense moving around, back, drops back, clean pocket, throws. It is complete for the first down. A fantastic little short pass over to B.J. Rainey, who's able to get the Trinity first down and put the Tigers in a goal-to-go situation.
Fantastic little sit down here from Rainey. Didn't have a whole lot of room on that window, but back delivers a perfect strike right through the middle of it. And as I said, a fantastic job for Rainey just to make that separation. Now 4 of 8 on 3rd down conversions.
Back struggled with that kind of play earlier on one of the big 3rd downs. It was off target. Instead, this one is a throw over the middle and incomplete, almost taken away by the TLU defense there. Marique Square, the cornerback out of Houston, Texas, the junior, had a pick last season, unable to get one there. But that was kind of a dangerous pass there for back to throw in there, and kind of a bit fortunate there that Square couldn't get both of his hands on it and pull it in. And so now with 3:45 to go in this third quarter, we'll see what the Trinity offense is able to do. Back in the gun. Hutchison over to his right. He throws it over to Hutchison, and it's incomplete. Just a bit off the mark. Pressure was coming from two different angles there for back, and it looks like it's going to be another field goal kick here for the Tigers. Actually, wait, no, sorry. That was second down, not third.
Yeah, the scoreboard had what looked to be third down, maybe a little bit prematurely inside the stadium, but yeah, third down now. But I think if you don't convert here, I think you take the points. You got a preseason All-American in Tyler Huddle, and it's almost a sure thing from this point. You'll bring it within a one-score game, but Trinity trying to do a little bit more.
Back, takes a snap, drops, fires over to the right-hand side, diving for it, incomplete. It was almost a fantastic diving catch there by Tyson Hancock, the sophomore wide receiver, but just out of reach there. And looking at it, Hancock dove for it and was just unable to get there, and actually took out one of the sideline camera people, I believe. But it will set up a fourth down field goal attempt for Tyler Huddle.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate. Two good drives here for Trinity. They could have ended up tying it with those two scores. Instead, they'll make it a one-possession game off the foot of Huddle.
8 points is the difference between these two teams now as Trinity pulls it to within one score, 13-21 in favor of the Bulldogs. And this Trinity defense has been very, very good during the second half. If they weren't as strong, do you think that Trinity would have maybe elected to try and potentially go for it there on that fourth down?
Yeah, I think if you're giving up touchdowns, if you get into a battle of needing 6 and you're giving up 6 every drive, then yeah, I think you've got to try to match. But defense is doing well, and like I said, you've got a preseason All-American and Huddle. I think at this point the smart move is to just take what you can get. Obviously, you would love to have scored touchdowns right there, but if you hadn't kicked these and you get stopped on fourth down the last two drives, it's still 21-7, and you're thinking, oh, what if it was just 21-13 and it was a one possession game type of deal? So, plus you're still 18 minutes left to play. I think you've got enough time to still be kicking right here.
Huddle kicks this one away. It's going to go right into the middle of the back of the end zone. Actually bounces off of the crossbar there at the end zone. And so we will once again see the TLU offense, which has really gotten shut down here in this second half so far.
Yeah, and shut down from the aspects. Bosenko's 0 for 3 in this half, but he's also had very little time to throw. And that's been, I think, really the big part of it. It's the Trinity pressure up front. That's been a big change. Didn't see that when we saw it, but Bosenko was just finding ways to get out of it, looking a little like Mahomes on some of his throws and finding, receivers at opportune times.
Bosenko going to try taking off with it. He actually has some space, and he manages to get it up 10 yards, and now we're going to get a late flag.
That's a tough one. I don't know, because it looked like he didn't try to actually slide. It looked like he was going for the first down. We'll take another look, maybe get more sense of this one.
Not sure who they would call it on. Looks like they would call it on TJ Scannell if they do, but Scannell looked more to be going for the shoulder pads.
Yeah, but he definitely went for the slide, so that wasn't as... It looked like he hesitated on the slide a little bit when we watched it live. The replay showed that he was definitely just kind of dropping down. And I think the penalty is probably going to be helmet to helmet, which I believe would go for targeting. Or since he was a runner, I don't know. Maybe I don't know if they've announced targeting or TJ's still out there. So I just think just call it a personal foul.
And so once again, the penalty is proving very costly for Trinity. And that will move the ball up to the 50-yard line now, right at midfield for Bosenko and this TLU offense. Gonna fake the handoff, drop back to pass. Hernan with the pressure, Hernan with the big hit. Guzman unable to get anything there as it's TJ Scannell coming in with the hit, kind of redeeming himself a little bit there and getting the big tackle for a loss.
Yeah, fantastic tackle. The only thing I caution is you don't want to get a 15-yard personal foul here for the standing over taunt, but fantastic wrap-up tackle right there for TJ Scannell. And, explosive. They've got a couple of them out here for Trinity, and if they can start getting this wrapped up here and not give up the odd big play, they've got to.
This one managing to break the tackle there. That one went out to Chase Patek, and looked like a interesting block there by the wide receiver. We're going to get the replay of it there.
Almost picked right there. And I'm surprised he didn't even get a hand on it for a deflection.
It was Jamari Nichols there on the block against Trey Green, the defensive back, who, as you said, almost ended up getting that pick. But instead, it's going to be a 3rd down and about half a yard here. We'll see what TLU is able to go with. They go with a run, and they're able to get it, but not much more than that as the wrap-up comes in by Max Shilstone. TLU has really been focusing on the run so far here today. It's something that Coach LeHue was talking about during the phone call interview with him. They really want to rely on this run game, kind of mix it up with some passes, and this has been a very, very strong ground game for the Bulldogs so far. Bosenko takes snap. He's going to take a deep shot downfield and just out of reach. It was Delvin Gant, the defensive back in coverage, and Trinity able to force the incompletion on the very deep pass.
Yeah, pretty solid coverage all the way down. I know that TLU is going to want the pass interference coming over the right-hand shoulder a little bit, but fantastic one-on-one coverage.
Pass there intended for Dominic Castellanos. And with 1:39 to go, we'll see what this TLU offense can pull out here on 2nd and 10. Bosenko, he's going to try and run with it again. He's going to throw it deep downfield and incomplete, as that was Caleb Camarillo there who had to make a diving catch attempt. And instead, it's going to result in 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, Bosenko right at the line when he throws this one. So the line of scrimmage was the 38, and you'll see him just beyond it. Would have been a fantastic catch. Probably would have been ruled down at the 1, so it wouldn't have maybe gone for 6, but it would have been a. You know, when I said Mahomes a little bit earlier, I didn't know that it was quite all of the things that he's done in the past few games. But yeah, you know, he's evading everything that's coming at him. Now that I think that he's gotten a sense of the pressure that Trinity brought out in the first 2 drives of the second half, he's gotten a sense of that, and I think he's picked up the pace a little bit. So he's stepping forward just a split second sooner now and kind of creating his own lanes.
It's going to be the flag there as TLU unable to get the snap off in time. And so it's going to be a delay of game. Backs the Bulldogs up by 5. And a costly error there as that makes a difficult situation even tougher. And basically forces the Bulldogs, they are going to have to pass for the 3rd straight time in this 3-down set. Bosenko dropping back. Pressure coming. He's going to go down. Johnny Nwobodo going to get credited for the sack. And the Trinity defense comes up big.
Yeah, sometimes better to be lucky than good. Bosenko just kind of trips, I believe, over his center.
Going to get the replay there. I think that he just got tripped up over
right guard.
Cam Ross. That's going to be the right tackle out of Dallas. And an unfortunate error there, but TLU with the opportunity to pin the Bulldog, TLU with an opportunity to pin the Tigers back in their own territory. Takes a snap. Pressure was there, but the punt is away cleanly. This one going to bounce at the 3 and take a bounce right back into the end zone for the touchback. So a good decision there by Nickelberry not to try and pursue after that one.
Yeah, almost a perfect punt from TLU's aspect, as that only went a yard or two deep into the end zone. But, yeah, interesting for Trinity to pretty much go with the all-out block on that one. You know, anything at midfield, you always feel like the possibility for the fake is there. So you just want to watch for those little dump passes or something like that. But when you bring the heat, sometimes you also force the issue on a fake play. As we wait for the chain to get all the way down. I think he was having trouble making the 30-yard run all the way down.
And now we are ready to go. Back in the backfield here, running back to his left. Back takes a snap. It is going to be a handoff here, cutting back to the outside. That one is going to be going over
Jackson Williams.
Jackson Williams, he got a few looks during the scrimmage against Blinn last Thursday.
Yeah, Jackson Williams with his second carry of the day. And earlier, Kibriante Williams had the big third down pickup for TLU in his first carry. So a couple of the Williams running backs starting to make a presence.
Back, takes a snap. Going to be another handoff here. This one going to Hutchison. Hutchison fighting towards the first down line. We'll see if he was able to get it. I think they're going to mark him about a yard or two short. And just like that, that will be the conclusion here of the third quarter. Trinity able to keep TLU off the boards, but crucially, TLU able to maintain their lead as they hold on by 8 over the hometown Trinity University Tigers. We are going to take a quick break here on the Trinity Tiger Network, and we will be back for the fourth quarter whenever we come back.
And welcome back here, start of the fourth quarter. They'll switch sides. Trinity will be going from right to left on your screen. And with that last run, Trinity now in control of the total yardage. They now lead 219 to 218. So Hutchison's 2-yard run, significant in that regard. But it also brings up a 3rd and 1. And that'll be a double set backfield here for back out of the gun. And it will be a handoff, and it'll be Grigsby, and he will have the first down. And he is pretty amped as he gets back up. And that is a big play for the Trinity Tigers as they will continue this drive, and a much needed drive here. As Caleb and I were discussing earlier, you've gotten it to within a 1-score game. Now you need to actually do something with it and make an impact, whether it's another field goal or if you can get the touchdown and then worry about going for 1 or 2 at that point. Got to pick these up on those 3rd and 1 plays. And that was a big third down conversion for the Tigers, now 5 of 10 on the day. This one will be a first down run up the middle. And it looks like it'll gain maybe about half the distance needed for the moving of the chains. Trying to see who comes out of there. And, yeah, that's going to be, I believe, number 4. That'll be Johnny Milo on the carry. Saw Theo pop up out of there, too. And I was like, wait. Theo would not have run that one. So Milo with the carry there picks up about 5.
And so now back in the gun, one receiver over to his left, 3 receivers to the right. Back, throws it deep down the field on the right-hand side. Nickelberry, what a catch on the right-hand side. Lamont Nickelberry, he didn't get any offensive plays last season. And in terms of the...
But it looks like it did, a little tough to tell from our angle up here, but it looks like it did go out of his hands at the very end. Yeah, you see it roll away. The only thing I would have done differently if I was Nickelberry, the defender never turned around. I would have just run right back through him and not given him the chance to turn around and pick up the pass interference. But he was trying to make the play.
Instead, it's going to set up 3rd down and 5 here. Back again in the shotgun, except now the receiver distribution is 2 and 2, right and left. Back, drops back. Looks, he's going to roll out to his left-hand side. Pressure coming. He's just going to throw this one away and force the punt. Great defensive coverage there. Or sorry, great defensive pressure there by Marvin Ferris.
Yeah, I think it was the right time to take a shot downfield on the throw to Nickelberry. It just wasn't, just too much coverage. I think TLU's defensive backs have just been locked in and steady throughout the whole game. Like I said earlier, they chipped Will Powell just enough to throw, what was potentially a great touchdown off the board and force back to throw it away. They were just in the right spot on coverage, and then on that 3rd down play, they were just all over that double set.
Punt is away, cleanly taken in by the TLU returner, and a massive hit there. The person delivering that hit there, I believe, was Jaden Powell, one of the linebackers who came in first, and a massive hit taken by Eugene Robinson.
Yeah, we'll get another look at the punt return.
Actually looks there more like Powell kind of hit John Cole McAdams a bit harder than Robinson, but either way, a good wrap-up by the Trinity University defense, making this possession start at the 26-yard line. Bennett goes into motion. Bosenko running out to the left. Bosenko going to take it himself, and Bosenko going to get forced out of bounds after a gain of about 2, and we got a late flag.
Yeah, they're probably going to call the late hit. I think there was contact after he was probably good 2 yards out of bounds. We'll take another look and see if that is the case. The only other thing it could be down there is a hold. Oh, you got a hold maybe on 21, so it could go either way here.
That hold would...
No, I think the official that threw the flag came in where the hit was out of bounds, so that will be going 15 yards in favor of TLU.
Would have been Jackson Bennett who would have been called for the hold if it was, but instead it is indeed going to be a late hit out of bounds. And the Trinity crowd expressing their displeasure here at that decision. It has been a very difficult time for Trinity in terms of the penalty yardage. Six penalties for 70 yards so far here today for the Tigers. Bosenko back in the gun, fakes the handoff, throw it to the left-hand side on the screen, and Robinson going to get pulled out of bounds after a gain of about 4.
Yeah, big drive for TLU here. Can't really put the game away, but they can make it very difficult for Trinity if they were able to find a way to score a touchdown. Basically making Trinity score 2 in the final 10 minutes. It'd be a tall task for somebody who's only found the end zone once today.
Bosenko once again in the gun. I don't think that they've run any plays under center so far. Pump fake, throw to the left-hand side, and incomplete. A big overthrow there intended for Eugene Robinson. Tyson Corn try and force a little bit of noise here, force some TLU mistakes.
Play clock's at 2. Play clock has expired.
And the flag has now come out, so
They're looking for that first W if that's the case. Two teams that should have been going into that game 1-0.
And so now TLU hurrying up to the line. Bosenko takes a snap. He's going to fire it deep on the left-hand side. Cornett in coverage. Catch. And in for the touchdown there. Caleb Camarillo, the big reception at the back of the end zone. And TLU extending that lead and trying to put this one out of reach.
Yeah, not quite the dagger, but an excellent throw. Just floated it up and had at least a step on Cornett, and just fantastic play call, fantastic execution.
And so now we'll see if Joaquin Rodriguez can stay perfect on the day. Perfect on the day for kicking, perfect on last season for extra points. This kick is up and good right down the middle to make this a 28-13 game. So 15-point advantage for TLU here through with 11:42 left to go in the fourth quarter. After this game, TLU going to be going over to Centenary. So a couple of SCAC rivals going at it. TLU, of course, in the ASC during football, but in the SCAC during all other sports of the year. Trinity in the SCAC for all other sports of the year. This, of course, the final year that Trinity will be in the SCAC before all of the other sports move over to the SAA, which is the conference that Trinity is currently in for football, full time.
Yeah, I've had some pretty wild situations. We faced off against Hendricks in soccer the other day, and Trinity representing the SCAC in soccer, and Hendricks representing the SAA in soccer. And next year we could have the same exact matchup and the same exact conferences, but they would be flipped. As Trinity will be a member of the SAA, and Hendricks will come in and be a full-fledged member of the SCAC.
This kick is away, going to be taken in by Nickelberry. Nickelberry moving out to the left-hand side. We've got a flag as Nickelberry goes down at the 25-yard line. Also taken down on that play, I believe, was Barry.
Yeah, usually that's going to be in the area for a block in the back. And we'll see.
Sorry, it was Jackson Williams who also went down, and believe that you're right there as Trevino going to get called there potentially on that block in the back. And so another mental miscue here for the Trinity University Tigers, and something that this team will really be looking to avoid in the future, as discipline was the big name of the game against Blinn whenever those two teams scrimmaged last week. A couple of mental miscues causing some issues during that game. They only played a full half, but either way, a situation that Trinity is looking to avoid in the future if they want to not only come away with a victory in this game, but the victory in future games as well. Back in the gun, one receiver to his left. It's going to be a handoff as Hutchison going to power forward there for a gain of about 6 or 7 and set up second down and short. Hutchison so far today leading the team in terms of rushing yards. Led the team last season in rushing yards as well, as he gets that one up to about the 13 or 14 yard line. Or sorry, 18 or 19. Ball is actually going to be spotted at the 19-yard line. Back, takes a snap, dropping back. 5-step drop. Now rolling out to his right-hand side. Pressure coming. He's going to throw it into the dirt. Intended there, looks like it was for B.J. Rainey. And on the pressure was, I believe that was Aiden Abzulam, the defensive end for TLU. And so 3rd down and 1 situation here. Definitely a good running situation considering the way that Trinity has been able to control the ground during this second half. It is going to be a handoff, and Grigsby going to get across the 20-yard line for the first down and keep this drive alive.
Yeah, big play. I feel like maybe you even go for it if it's 4th and inches. But fantastic job for Grigsby to not put us in that situation.
One player that just came off was Will Taylor, looking a little bit light there on that right leg. I saw him getting stretched out a little bit on the sideline whenever the Trinity defense was on, and he's currently walking back to the table as back is going to uncork this one on the right-hand side. A lot of contact, a lot of pressure. Trinity fans calling for the flag, and they're not going to get it, as it looked like that one was Baron Calden there attempting to get that reception.
So what we're going to look for here is to see if the defender put his head back around. He looked at it once, and then he never looked at it again. So I guess they're going to say that because he turned his head early on in the process and then just kind of went and face guarded, that's going to negate the pass interference because he had his head turned.
It was
I don't think there was a lot of contact there, but it just right in the face, he wouldn't have been able to complete it.
Junior Eddie Brown was the one who was in defense there, as Johnny Milo going to get a good gain of about 3 to set up 3rd down and on that verge between medium and long. As we hit exactly 10 minutes left to go in this 4th quarter, Trinity definitely needing to get some momentum here as they find themselves trailing by 15. 28-13 is your score. Back in the gun. 3 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. Trinity loves to run this little trips formation. Back, drops back. Now going to step up. He's going to fire over the middle, and it is off the hands of Calden. Incomplete, and Trinity now going to be forced to punt this one away.
I mean, this is a tough decision right here. Your offense isn't moving the ball. You can't give TLU the ball at the 24. But at the same time, a really tough decision. If TLU takes another 4 or 5 minutes off the clock, pretty much will end the game.
And so now we're going to see actually Tyler Huddle going to be kicking this one away. Huddle with the much stronger leg boots this one away. Ball drops down at about the 44-yard line and taking some favorable Trinity rolls there before finally being down at the 35.
Yeah, so what you need if you're a Tiger fan here is you need a good quick 3 and out. And if you can do it with a clock stoppage on a pass attempt and save some time, that would be really helpful.
So again, Trinity trailing by 2 possessions here. They scored 7 in the second quarter, 6 in the third, and have not scored yet in the 4th. As this one is going to be a handoff to Guzman. Guzman struggling to get back to the line, and I think they're barely going to credit him with maybe a gain of half a yard, if anything else. And so this TLU offense just trying to drain as much clock as possible here. And I would be surprised if they tried to pass it unless it was a third down and very long situation. Bosenko back in the gun, drops back. He's going to try and pass here. Nwobodo tried to get the pressure there as breaking a couple of tackles and up to the 43-yard line. We do have a flag, though, and it looks like this one might be coming back as it could have been a hold there. One of the offensive linemen looking kind of upset is number 77, Ian Wallard. And you saw there the tug on the back of Nwobodo's jersey. That is going to be a costly penalty that pushes TLU back just a little bit further and sets up a much more favorable situation here. Going to turn 2nd and 9 into 2nd and 19.
.8:35 on the clock. We'll get the scoreboard on your screen updated as soon as we can. The connection to it just having a little bit of issues. So not 4th and 7, it is 2nd and long, 2nd and about 19, as Caleb was saying.
And so now we'll see what this TLU offense is going to try and do here. It is going to be actually a read option there as Bosenko going to get dropped at right about the line of scrimmage. 25-yard line is all that he was going to be able to get there. And now 3rd down and 20. In this kind of situation, where would you go? Because you don't want to have an incompletion that stops the clock, but also you can't run it with such a long distance to go.
I mean, the way that you've been playing on the last couple of drives, I would run this, take a little bit more time off the clock, and then just trust your defense to go out there and do what they've been doing.
A little bit of movement there on the Trinity defensive line, able to get back in time before the snap. Bosenko takes snap. He's going to drop back. He's going to fire over to the left-hand side on the screen. This is going to get swallowed up and barely able to get a couple of yards, if anything. But crucially, the time will continue to wind down as now under 8 minutes to go in this 4th quarter. 7:15 just ticked over on the clock. And Nickelberry going to try and get a big punt return here to give Trinity favorable field position.
Yeah, clock now under 7, 6:55 and counting. Play clock at 5 before they snap it off.
Almost able to get the block there. Rabson started to try and break through the line. Nickelberry going to take this punt in and dropped at about the 23-yard line before finally getting brought down. Rabson last season had 3 kick blocks last season, actually led the team in that category. He had 2 of them against Hendricks, but also conversely, during that same game, he also had 2 roughing the kicker penalties. So kind of a mixed bag whenever you get Cade Rabson in the special teams backfield. And right now we'll see what kind of bag the Trinity offense has with the ball in their hands. Back in the double back formation, fakes the handoff to Hutchison. The throw over to the right-hand side is caught and still going. And up, the ball comes loose, and TOU takes over. A costly turnover there, as that could be potentially the difference in this one. Gonna see what happened there, and trying to see who the receiver was. Believe it might have been Tyson Hancock, number 88, and that looks to be the most likely one. And so a costly turnover here means that TOU will have the ball at the 38-yard line in the Trinity half of the field. Bosenko drops back, throws out to the left-hand side, complete over to Guzman. Guzman running out, or forced out of bounds at the 25-yard line, but crucially, a first down for the Bulldogs. The turnover battle is something that Trinity has not won today. Only one interception earlier on in the game, and that one came in the red zone. And it's just been a very, very difficult time for Trinity, who have just never really been able to get any momentum. This one, a run by Guzman over to the right-hand side. A big hit there. And results in maybe about a loss of 2 or 3 before we get a Trinity timeout. With 5:46 to go in the fourth quarter. We're gonna take a quick break here on the Tiger Network, and we will be back whenever the players do here from San Antonio. Welcome back, everybody, to Trinity University. Your TLU with the ball on the Trinity side of the field after a crucial fumble. As Bosenko moving out to his left-hand side, he's going to throw it, and that one is going to be batted down as Delvin Gant able to force the incompletion there. And despite the way that the offense has gone, this Trinity defense has really done well for themselves, putting the team in a good position. It's just the offense hasn't really had the best opportunities to capitalize. But the TLU offense has definitely done a great job of capitalizing here as they lead 28-13 with 5:39 to go in this fourth quarter. 3rd down and 13. Bosenko takes the snap. He's going to look. Pressure coming from his left. He's flushed out, moving over to the right. He throws, and it is incomplete. Intended there for Dominic Castellanos, the sophomore wide receiver out of Marion, who didn't play any last season. And now with 5.5 minutes to go, we'll see if this TLU squad opts to kick it or punt it. And it looks like they're going to try and go for the kick here. This kick would be from about 40 yards away. 40. Let's see, ball on 29 here. Kick is up. It's trailing, and it's no good. Wide to the left. As Joaquin Rodriguez last season, 60% on the field goals, unable to get 100 on the season. On this season, I should say. And now Trinity going to take over here with 5:25 left on the clock. They would have to score very, very quickly here on this drive if they would want a chance to potentially get back into it. But we'll see what the offense is able to do. Here starting on their own 29-yard line. Back in the gun. 2 receivers on either side, running back to his right. Takes a snap, bobbles the snap and loses it. Back moving over and brought down hard. A great opportunistic play there by the TLU defense. Believe that the defender there was Franklin Alfaro, the freshman defensive lineman out of Santa Fe, Texas, not Santa Fe, New Mexico. And we are going to get a Trinity University timeout here with 5:06 to go in a 2nd and 29 situation. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back on the Trinity Tiger Network. Welcome back, everybody, to Trinity University here on the Trinity Tiger Network. 5 minutes to go here in this fourth quarter. Back going to take up with it and move over the middle of the field. It's intercepted, taken away by TLU, and that's going to basically be the dagger. There's Troy Tomaselli, the sophomore out of San Antonio, Texas, the ASC Freshman of the Year last year, able to get that one in coverage. Looking at the replay there, back. It was an okay read. Tomaselli just made a fantastic play there as the intended target was Tyson Hancock. And so with 4:57 here to go in this fourth quarter, TLU are going to come back onto the field and just looking to milk this clock down to triple zeros.
A fantastic week one here for Texas Lutheran.
As that is going to be a good power run over to the left-hand side there for Guzman.
You know, and we should talk about, you know, the first year of the SCAC, they don't have an at-large or an automatic bid. So for if anybody's starting to think like potential playoffs coming out of the SCAC, it's going to have to be an at-large bid. Now, they did add 8 new spots for the NCAA playoffs here in Division III. So there will now be 40 teams into the playoffs, and start talking about this because now this starts to have a little bit of momentum here for Texas Lutheran as we look at some of their schedules. And if they can continue to play like this, especially behind the decision-making and some of the skills of Bosenko and how their defense is played, especially their secondary, you know, they start looking ahead maybe at the SCAC. You know, everything's going to be based off of MPI this year. And so that draws a little bit of extra to it. But 8 new teams into the system, and essentially what's going to happen is that first round is going to be 8 games where 24 teams have a bye. And so we've added a round, so it's basically the round of 64 where only 8 games take place, and then everybody will go from there into what we normally have as a round of 32, as that round is stopped just, I think, for no gain. It'll still be 3rd and 2 now. But basically, you know, you've got a situation where you're going to have, you know, an extra round of playoffs, and I think somebody's already started looking at it. You know, the national championship's not going to take place until 2026, or excuse me, 2025, at the end of the calendar year. So it'll actually go past New Year's before they play the title game. So, you know, an opportunity now for Texas Lutheran as they start to look ahead. If they can put together a strong campaign throughout the year, you know, and Trinity starts to win a few games themselves, this could turn out to be a very good MPI game for them. If Trinity starts to turn around their season as well and, you know, wins, you know, 7, 8, 9 games the rest of the way, this could really help out Texas Lutheran as well.
Bosenko there on the run out to the right. Cade Rabson, he's had his hands all over basically everything defensively in this game alongside Tyson Cornett. The 2 defensive captains really putting in a lot of work for Trinity so far here today. And looking at the historical numbers for Trinity, of course, went undefeated last season at home. And the last time that Trinity ended up losing a game at home was back during the 2022 season, a game that actually ended their 2022 season as they lost here at home in the playoffs back in late November against then number 3 ranked UMHB. That one was a 17-24 loss. This one looking like it's going to be about a 13-28 final score unless one of these teams is able to get into the end zone here in the final 3:25. And so following the timeout here, the Trinity defense coming back on, the TLU offense coming back on. And looking like trying to kick this one kick this one for the field goal here on 4th and 10 is going to be Joaquin Rodriguez, who just missed a couple of minutes prior. Good snap, good hold. It's blocked by Trinity University. There is a flag, and not sure who came up with it. And now we've got a very late flag coming in after that. Not sure at all if it's going to be related. It probably won't be. And
the second one's most definitely a personal foul, which will still be enforced no matter what the penalty is previous.
A lot of players standing around waiting to see. Not sure if the player who got the block, wasn't able to see who it was, but unsure if it was an early jump or not.
Yeah, my best guess would be, offside. And then the second one's going to be a personal foul on Trinity for something that they said, because the TLU is not going anywhere. And
it is going to be one penalty that's offside. And unsportsmanlike conduct on Trinity as well.
It'll be a first down for TLU with 3:20 to go, so they'll get the ball back. And not only that, but they will have an opportunity to get not only this first down, but it's still a possibility to get the first down and still have another first down with goal to go. 3:20. Yeah, I think it's pretty. It's likely. It's a possibility that they may not get the ball back if you're a Trinity fan.
And so, again, 3:20 left on the clock. It is going to be a first and goal here as they set up on the 5-yard line.
Okay, so they did move it earlier. They put it at the 14, and now they moved it all the way up.
Guzman run up to the middle of the right-hand side, brought down at about the 2-yard line. And that clock continuing to roll down here on a very surprising TLU win. Of course, talked about it a lot earlier on in the broadcast. Even though they did have that 2-8 record last season, it wasn't really indicative of their abilities in the game, as of course they only lost their games by an average of 2 points. So a lot of close games just didn't end up in their favor. And the CLU team really coming out and putting a lot of people on notice here to start 2024 as Guzman going to run it into the end zone. And that will basically put the nail in the coffin as TLU continuing to score here. Guzman getting another on the day and another on his great career as the junior out of McAllen, Texas, is really putting on an impressive performance to start this season. Rodriguez kick is up and good to make this a 35-13 score. And definitely a surprising one to say the least, but not unexpected if you are on this TLU side, particularly on this TLU coaching staff, as got to speak with Coach LaHue. Sorry. And the team had a great camp. A lot of players reported in. And it's a very young team as well. Coach LaHue in his 3rd year at TLU. He did serve as the offensive coordinator for a couple of years back in 2018 and 2019, but this is his 3rd year as the head coach of this team. In his 36th year coaching overall, spent the majority of his time at the high school levels, and one of his more famous products from high school was actually whenever he was at Westlake, getting to coach Drew Brees back in high school. And so Coach LaHue, no stranger to building programs, and it's definitely a good program that they are building over in Seguin. And with 2:32 left on the clock here in the 4th quarter, This Trinity offense trying to get something going here and walk away with potentially a little bit more positives. As Nickelberry cutting out to the left-hand side, he's going to break over to about the 35-yard line before cutting for a back juke and stepping out of bounds at about the 36. And so with this offense coming out, Josh, what do you think they need to be doing here in these final 2.5 minutes to try and get something out of this possession?
Well, I'm a little surprised to see the starting lineup still out there. You know, at 35-13, you know, maybe you still want to be working on stuff. But at some point, I think you need to also start looking at maybe somebody else that wants to be, you know, maybe out there, you know, trying something a little bit different. And so, you know, I think, you know, I'm not saying that the game's over, but you're going to have to do a bunch of this where you're just heaving it downfield. And the contact there was actually made by the receiver. So, you know, you're going to have a bunch of just Hail Marys here because, you know, you've got to score 3 touchdowns and get a 2-point conversion just to tie. And you've got a little bit under 220 to do it. So it's not looking good.
So far, the leading receivers of the day for Trinity, B.J. Rainey with 47 yards, Will Taylor with 46. And that one intended there for Brent Calden, who has not gotten a catch so far here today. Back once again in the gun. 3 to the right, 2 to the left. Back drops back. He's going to dump it off to Milo. Milo going to see what he can do with it as he gets about 2 yards past the line of scrimmage and run out of bounds right in front of the TLU sideline to set up 3rd and 8.
Yeah, and 3rd down, really the killer for Trinity today. Just couldn't quite get the conversions that they needed overall. Just 6 of 14 so far. So even if they get this one, that's still under 50%.
Back, drops back, fires over the middle. That one is complete to Nickelberry. Nickelberry takes a couple of steps back before then separating. He's got separation across midfield up to the 40-yard line before finally getting taken out at about the 37-yard line. And finally, there's going to be a late flag coming in as the Trinity crowd finally getting the call that they've been looking for basically all game.
Yeah, fantastic job here. I mean, he's just trying to make something happen. And does a good job here switching the ball to the outside, protecting it. And then as he's 2 steps out of bounds, just continues to wrap around and take him out by the shoulders. And so that'll move it 15 yards closer, so almost in the red zone for Trinity. We don't have red zone stats off of our server, but doesn't feel like we've been down in this area a whole lot. A couple of those early drives to start the second half just didn't pan out. And then it's been, honestly, about 15 minutes, maybe even 18 minutes of gameplay since we feel like we've made progress into the red zone here.
Whenever we got to speak with Coach Urban about Nickelberry in particular, he mentioned, of course, Nickelberry only got special teams reps last season, but whenever he showed up to camp this offseason, he really put in a ton of work to not only be a key part of the offense, but to be an offensive starter this year for the first time in his career. As the running back goes into motion, back gonna throw this one, and it's actually gonna be an incompletion. That one intended there for Zadrian Huerta. And so now Huerta going to come off. Grigsby going to come on along with B.J. Rainey. Also coming off is going to be Tyson Hancock, the sophomore wide receiver out of Smithville. And so we'll see what Trinity tries to pull out here on 2nd down and 10. Throw on the left-hand side, once again complete to Lamont Nickelberry, who is, despite the struggles of the offense, is performing incredibly here today. He is up to about the 13, maybe 12-yard line, and actually they're going to give him the first down.
Trinity trying to maybe just end with something positive. Clock ticking down now under 90 seconds.
Back, takes a snap. He's looking. He's rolling out to his right. Throws. It is incomplete. Intended there for Tyson Hancock. And that will set up now 3rd down and 10. As the Trinity offense has kind of stalled out a little bit now that they are in the red zone.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of backs passes have just faded a little bit too far to the right. And so maybe something that he'll look back on and feel like he may have had maybe 2 or 3 different scores throughout the game if he just puts it in the right spot.
Back, pumps, fires. It is caught in the corner of the end zone for a touchdown. Lamont Nickelberry, he's done basically everything so far this drive, and he wraps it up with 6.
Yeah, a nice little drive. Maybe that can help kickstart for next week. You start trying to find what it's going to take. If this game is a loss, and it's certainly looking that way. Barring maybe the craziest onside kicks that you've ever seen. Start trying to find something positive, and that looked like a pretty decent drive. And it's really the first time that we've seen the secondary for TLU really just get beat consistently.
And so with 1:09 here left to play in this 4th quarter, we'll see what the Trinity special teams is able to do, as is once again a 15-point game. TLU leading 35-20 over the Trinity Tigers. And you see the conversation going on now down on the field. Obviously, obviously Trinity is going to go for the onside kick here. And let's just say hypothetically, they are able to get it. They are able to go down and score. Would you try and go for 2 now, or would you try and do it on perhaps maybe a second miraculous possession if you're able to get it?
I think if you're able to get it, because the one thing you don't want to do is make yourself down 9, and that's what would happen there. But they just, while you were talking, they were desperately trying to find Nickelberry to come out here on this hands team, and he's at the very bottom of, well, not on your screen, but the very bottom of the screen now. And let's see if they can, well, straight to the Bulldog, and a nice recovery right there. And that is Cole Andres, and that'll pretty much wrap it up. I mean, we're basically a kneel down plus and handshakes after that.
And so the TLU offense coming out, it was a great final drive for the Trinity offense, but just all the issues at the start of the game in the first half in particular, just too much to overcome here for the Tigers. And the TLU Bulldogs are going to come away with quite possibly one of the biggest upsets that I think that we could have predicted on our schedule. Whenever we were talking about it in the days and the weeks leading up to it, this game would have been, or this game was a pretty big game to decide essentially how the momentum swing of this season would be going. And
yeah, I think it gives Trinity a lot of questions that they need to go and figure out and answer. And I think it gives Texas Lutheran a lot of questions about how good are they. I don't know that anything gets answered here in week 1, but an opportunity for TLU to really expand upon what they've done here today. And I think that's going to be the last one, as that's under the play clock, so they'll go shake hands. But if they can do this, if the Bulldogs can do this, especially behind Caden Basenko, 21 of 31, 240 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns, and just that 1 pick all the way back in the first quarter, finishes with a 147.6 rating. That's a really solid performance. And he did a lot with his feet, too. It's only going to count for 19 yards on 10 attempts. But it was him moving around that really opened up passing lanes. It allowed him to come out. He was 14 of 16 in the first half. I mean, they set the tone early. They went to the locker room up 21-7. And, if your quarterback, especially a junior quarterback, is coming through and putting together that type of, game against a defense that lost 9 starters for sure, roughly 10 depending on how we look at how they were starting or not. Trinity's defense definitely not what it was last year, but a lot of these starters for this year were guys who played a lot of reps last year. So you expected Trinity's defense to come out and be pretty strong. And he basically just found a lot of weaknesses in it and exploited that and had a fantastic game. Rushing wise, they're going to finish, Trinity held TOU to 1.2 yards per attempt rushing. They did 35 team rushes for 43 yards. But they were able to score twice. So as they got down into the red zone, they were able to make that work. Ryan Back finishes 17 of 39, 179, 2 touchdowns and an INT as well. The numbers don't look necessarily terrible, but I think if you go and look at the tape, I think he's going to, look at it and say, that's not the play I want to make. That's not the play I want to make. And I think that, his next week, I think, is going to be trying to figure out what changes he's going to make. Belhaven, they lost last week or this week in a game that they probably shouldn't have lost either. So it's a big group of questions. And I think Trinity's now searching for answers, whereas I think TOU is starting to wonder what if, because they've definitely got an opportunity now, especially with some of the schedule that they've got. If they can start putting together the right games and start winning the right way, everything's calculated off of a formula now. It doesn't matter what the polls say. It doesn't matter what the eye test says from a couple of people on the regional voting committees. It's what do the numbers say, and they came out and they established that by putting up the victory, getting the points for the victory on the formula, and they are in prime position right now.
And for Trinity fans who are watching still, even though this might be kind of a shock for a lot of Trinity fans, I know this is a shock for both of us, but for the TLU fans as well, this may not come as big of a surprise as it might for some of us, because TLU last season, even though they do have that 2-8 record on their name, a lot of those losses were very close. They had a 27-14 loss against Ave Maria, but a 3-point loss at Sol Ross, 5-point loss at Hardin Simmons, 1 possession away from there. They managed to get all the way down to the goal line, almost was able to get the victory there. 4-point loss at Howard Payne, a 3-point loss versus McMurray. This was a team that last year genuinely could have gone 5-5, maybe 6-4, if maybe like 1-2 different plays per game it turned out differently.
Yeah, and for the SCAC, I think McMurray got the coaches poll to win the SCAC. TOU was right behind him, and I think that shows exactly where they are coming in out of the ASC back into SCAC play. That's going to be a fun conference to kind of watch unfold, because they've got a couple of new teams. Lion is in it. It's a wide open championship right now, and I think TLU, in my opinion, went out and they just said, we're the team to beat right now, because we just dominated a team that's supposed to be really good, and everybody else is now going to be chasing the Bulldogs.
Trinity came into this game ranked at number 13 in the nation, likely going to be dropping here after this week, hoping to keep it within the top 25, but a big surprise to see them fall, especially against an unranked TLU team. But just looking at the schedule, TLU will actually start conference against Centenary next week. They will be at home facing off against Centenary before then going on the road once again at McMurray. So they will host a game and then travel up to Abilene, Texas to take on the Warhawks, starting off a 2-game road trip there as they go up to Lion on the 28th. Meanwhile, for Trinity, you won't be seeing them next week. You will be seeing them the week after. September 21st is the next time that Trinity hosts a game. But first, they have to go over to Jackson, Mississippi, going on the road at Belhaven. As you mentioned, a team that lost this week, definitely going to have a little bit of a fire under them hoping to get their first win of the season. Trinity as well, and Trinity started the year 0-1 last season as well before going on that big tear, except they started on the road at a slightly more difficult St. John's team than I think what a lot of these Trinity fans were expecting against TOU. Their next home game is going to be a non-conference game versus Washington and Lee. That one going to be on September 21st, a day game. Before then, we start conference on the road at Center. So, again, the final score of this one. TOU comes away with a shock victory, 35-20 in favor of the Bulldogs. And we will see you in 2 weeks' time here on the Trinity Tiger Network against Washington and Lee. My name has been Caleb Reed, joined, of course, by Josh Mitch-Gamba. And we will see you all in a little bit under 14 days whenever we are back here in San Antonio. So, again, thank you for watching. This has been the Trinity Tiger Network, and we will see you all hopefully very soon. Take care, everybody.